Right, my beloved Madridistas, I have some news. I have some news for all of you, kind of an important update. I want to tell you guys about, new stuff I want to do in terms of content that I think you guys are going to really, really like, because, the idea of this was always to bring you guys closer to Madrid, closer to the atmosphere, the Bernabeu, etc. But I want to tell you guys some of the stuff that I want to do. And also, I want to tell you guys about what prompted this, which is kind of a funny story. I mean, okay, most of you know, I think most of you know that this is kind of a hobby for me. I don't do this for a living. When I launched the channel a couple of years ago, it was, very much just a passion project. But lately I got a little bit more curious as to, how this stuff works. And, because it was kind of just a hobby for me, I never really looked into like algos and all that kind of thumbnails and hashtags. I had no idea how any of this stuff worked, but I became a little bit curious about it lately, and I'll tell you guys why. And so I asked the smartest person that I know. I'm 57 years old. I know a lot of people, but I asked the smartest person that I know that happens to be this young lady, who, very soon will be referred to as wifey. And that's right, I proposed in the Bernabeu. I thought it was only fair to let her know what her future was going to look like. But, when I say she's the smartest person, I mean, by the way, I'm not one of these sort of emasculated, ass kissers, like these men that are, no. When I say she's the smartest, I mean, this chick, when she was a teenager, she took an IQ test and scored a 157, and she took another one 2 years ago and scored a 161. So, I mean, when I tell you this chick is smart, it's not a joke. But anyway, I sort of asked her, I said, can you look into all this algo crap, like go on ChatGPT and figure out how this stuff works? Because I'm kind of stuck at 152,000 subs. I want to keep growing this family. So she spent a couple of hours on it, and we learned a lot of really, really interesting things. And it's funny, like, I'm very happy with the content I produce because, I mean, it's 50 years of watching Real Madrid, and I'm very proud of, what I'm able to analyze, etc. But in terms of the mechanics of this and the algos and sort of thumbnails and all that stuff, I learned a lot of really interesting things. And it turns out that everything that I'm doing from a technical standpoint is exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do, which is why my content wasn't reaching enough people. But in the process of doing this exercise, I did, we did think of things that you guys, I think, would really, really appreciate, that I think you guys will find really fun content going forward. And I want to tell you guys about that and what I want to do. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I really want to tell you guys about this and kind of what brought this about. Thanks for joining me, and let me tell you the story. Let's get started. My beloved Madridistas, okay, let me, by the way, first of all, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to a buddy of mine, Dan, who, he doesn't live in Spain, but, I saw him this morning, and he was kind enough to give me this incredibly cool hoodie. He just launched a company called Moji Mates and, gave me a bunch of stuff. So I just want to say thank you, Dan. I love it. Very, very cool. And by the way, I'm going to put the website link in the description if you guys want to check it out. I love the stuff. Very cool products with like the figures of the players and stuff. Anyway, okay, but let's get back to business. Thanks again, Dan. Okay, I want to tell you guys about sort of the changes I want to make and some of the content I want to add that I think you guys are going to really, really like. And I want to tell you kind of what prompted it. And so when I started my channel a couple of years ago, I of course follow all the Spanish dudes here, like all the big ones, and there's like tons of them. But Ciro Lopez, I follow these guys, Iñaki, Angulo from time to time. They produce a ton of content. It's like kind of impossible to follow too many because these guys are like making 5 videos a day. But I do follow the top ones here, and Quillo and Miguel Serrano and Fanático Real Madrid and Edu Rubio and Vikingos and Chio Blanco. There's tons of them, and they're I follow them. But a couple of years ago, I thought to myself, does anybody do this in English? Because Real Madrid has 700 million social media followers worldwide, and I don't think they all speak Spanish. So I thought it would be kind of a fun thing to do. And when I looked around, There was only one person doing it that I could find, which was Managing Madrid, and it's a channel that I'm sure a lot of you guys follow already, Kiyan Sobani, and so I watched him and I thought it was excellent. Okay, like I think his content is really, really good. I mean, it's very professional, it's thoughtful, it's analytic. I mean, the guy understands football and he knows what he's talking about. I thought it was really, really good content, and I'm a big fan, and I recommend you guys watch it. But it was only one person, right? So I thought, I mean, surely there must be room for someone else. And I thought, myself sort of, being a Spaniard myself, which I am and speak, soy de padres y abuelos españoles, he vivido media vida aquí. I mean, as a Spaniard and as somebody that has sort of, been going to the Bernabeu to watch Real Madrid since I was like 5 or 6 years old. And now I'm sort of, I live 200 meters away from the Bernabeu and I attend every single match. And I'm a socio abonado. By the way, everybody in my family is a socio abonado. I mean, look at this picture of, look at this picture of my youngest son when he became a socio. I mean, this is how crazy we are in this family about Real Madrid. And I attend every match. So Real Madrid has been a part of my life, like all my entire life. And so I thought it would be really a fun thing to do. So, I embarked on this, but like I say, the fact that it was just kind of a hobby for me, because it's not, my day job, I'm an investment guy and, I have partners. I'm a partner in an investment advisory firm, and I have 2 partners in Boston, and we speak every day, and that's what I spend 80% of my time doing. But lately I became a little bit curious because all of a sudden, just like all these channels popped up, and all of a sudden there's like a bunch of channels, people covering Real Madrid in English, and I see if I can say this politely. I mean, some of them are good. I think are good. Like again, like I think Kiyan's very good, and Managing Madrid is very good. Like I would watch that. But I mean, some of them. I mean, I don't know how to say this politely. They're sort of like, over-medicated frat boys, like, yelling in their mother's basement in sort of Bristol or Nebraska. I mean, some of them are are a little baffling to me. And but so I wanted to learn, how does this stuff work, these algos and all this stuff. So as I mentioned, I asked my woman to check it out, and we learned a lot of really, really interesting things. And on the technical side of things, I learned that, I'm doing everything wrong. Everything wrong. Like, for the algos to sort of show you to more people, I was literally doing absolutely everything wrong. And some of the things are, by the way, don't worry, because I'm not going to change, my style. I mean, I like to analyze things seriously and thoughtfully, and I like to give you guys, a proper analysis of stuff. So I'm not going to start jumping up and down and acting as, for clear. I mean, that's not my style, and that's never going to happen. But I did. But let me just give you some examples of things that I was doing exactly the opposite of. So apparently, in the thumbnails, you shouldn't have any numbers. If you have numbers on the thumbnail, like the algo shuts you down immediately. I didn't know that. So, I'm putting like the score line. I'm like, post-match analysis, 3-0 or something. I had no idea that putting numbers like, because I was wondering, why am I stuck at 152,000 for so long? Like, I don't know, something felt. So okay, so you're not supposed to have numbers on it. Okay, that's, strike one. Another thing, the title on the thumbnail shouldn't be more than 4 words, 1 to 4 words. Well, I didn't know that. Here I am writing Real Madrid versus Atleti Bilbao post-match analysis. It was like 87 words. I'm literally doing the opposite of what the algo wants to show you to more people. That's another example. Another thing is, and this is funny. So the algo, it likes faces with a lot of expression. So I always wondered, like, why do they put their face on a thumbnail? Because I don't want to put a face on my thumbnail. I don't want to be famous. That's the last thing in the world I want. I mean, I barely have time for the people I love. I mean, the last thing I need is fame. But why are all these people, making faces on the thumbnail? Okay, well, it turns out that the algo loves faces with a lot of emotional expression. And that's another thing. That the thumbnails are supposed to be highly dramatic. It's supposed to be like evoke a lot of emotion, high drama. What was I doing? The exact opposite. Here I am writing post-match analysis. Here I am like doing the nerd thing, and the algo was just obviously killing me. So, you're supposed to sort of, now, of the stuff that we learned, some of it actually I do think is useful. And this is what I wanted to tell you guys about. For example, shorts are very useful. I did not know that. I haven't been doing any shorts. If you guys look, I did some at the beginning because when I first set the channel up, I hired a young kid who I eventually had to fire because he was a lazy little shit. But I was doing shorts at the beginning because I had somebody helping me do it. But I haven't done shorts in I don't know how long, at least a year, more than a year. But apparently shorts are really, really important. And I thought to myself, this is something that I think people might really enjoy because I can take you guys to the Bernabeu. I can, 15 to 20 second clips to show you the atmosphere. This is stuff that I think you guys would enjoy. So I want to show you guys the atmosphere outside the stadium. Like they'll be short, no titles and not even a lot of narrative. And I don't even need to talk much, but I want you guys to feel the atmosphere before big matches. Even in the stadium, I want you, to hear the crowd, reactions, even observations that I might make during the course of the match, or my uncle who's like, this guy knows more about Real Madrid. He's like an encyclopedia. He's like next level. But, observations that we make during the match or crowd reactions, that's stuff that I think you guys would really appreciate because you can kind of feel what it's like, to be there. So that is something that I really, I want to do for you guys. And I think you would enjoy that. Now, I do want to mention this. None of this is going to happen in the next few days because I can't even cover the Celta match because I have a family engagement. So I'm not going to be around for the next few days. But starting at the sort of Man City match, you're going to start seeing more of this. Okay, so expect shorts to capture the atmosphere and stuff like that. I think you guys will enjoy that. And then another thing another takeaway that I think was kind of interesting that I'm going to do is the timing of the videos. So I didn't know this. Like for you guys that follow my channel normally, you know that I wait till the next day. And then I do kind of a sort of very detailed analysis, post-match analysis stuff. But apparently that, you get really, really penalized for that. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'll give you guys my initial reaction right after the matches. So, I'll do like 10 minutes where I'll just give you guys my sort of first initial reaction. And then, of course, if I need to elaborate, I can do that the following day in a much more detailed manner. But I think you guys might appreciate kind of my first reaction, sort of, not too long, 10, 15 minutes, just kind of my initial thoughts right after the match. Apparently that makes a big difference in terms of reach. And also I think you guys might enjoy that, just when I'm sort of, much more emotional right after the match. So I'm gonna do that. So look out for that. Now another thing that I want to do, by the way, the thumbnails will look a little bit different going forward, but I don't think that doesn't matter. I mean, that's not a big deal. Like it'll be less wordy. And, I'm definitely not going to make faces. I mean, you'll never see me, making a stupid face. I'm sorry, there's some things I'm just not going to do. But, the thumbnails will be a little bit less wordy. They'll be a little bit simpler in terms of images and stuff. But another thing that I want to do, which I think you guys might enjoy, and I have an appointment on the 12th. Some people are going to come over and they're going to kind of help me set up, is that I want to do, and I've mentioned this before, but I never really kind of went for it, but I think I'm going to do it now, is to do sort of watch-alongs for the away matches. So, if you want to hear my thoughts sort of in real time as the match is taking place, that's something that I think would be kind of fun. Now, I can't guarantee I can do it for every single away match. Like, there may be matches that I don't do it, but I think from time to time, I think it would be fun to sort of do a watch along, and I'll give you guys my commentary as I watch the game. Now, typically it's funny because the people that sort of know me well, they say, in your videos, you're so calm and sort of, you seem quite calm. I mean, in real life, during matches, I'm not. So you might see another side of me that you'll find entertaining because, I've been known to throw things, but I just think it would be fun to do that and to kind of comment on the match as it's happening in real time. So I'll be doing that. So look, I just want to let you guys know I'm not going to change anything. Like you're still going to get my analysis, and like I say, I have 50 years under my belt of watching Real Madrid, and I'm going to continue to try to be thoughtful and to try to say things that you find interesting. So I'm not changing the nature of the content at all, but what I'm doing is sort of adding a few things that I think you guys might find interesting. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about this. So, I hope that you'll join me for all that stuff. But I want to thank you all for the time you take. I'm very flattered. You should all know that I'm extremely flattered when you take times to hear what I say. I know your time is valuable, and I'm always very, very grateful for your time. So I do want to say thank you to all of you so far. But anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. I love all of you. Thanks so much. I won't be around for the Celta match, but I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again as we get closer to the City match. All right. I love you all. Thank you very much. And as always, a Madrid.